What's good, you guys? This is PSYCHONAUT Visions signing back in once again, coming at you with another video. Today we got the two of us, not in person, but you got to make do with what you got. So we're going to be talking about shrooms and essentially like, you know, they were fun until they weren't. And I guess I'll start off. For me personally, my honeymoon phase, what I like to call it with psychedelics, was in 2019, the first year I ever really got into tripping. And there were some really high moments, really pure, like nostalgic, um, essentially like divine times with shrooms in particular. I started out with two, went to 3 grams, and they were very eye opening from the sense that it kind of showed me a lot of what I had been ignoring about life in terms of not just nature, but almost myself as well. Like I felt this bout of confidence, reassurance, and essentially like I felt very grounded during those trips. It was very like peaceful to go back to a childlike state of mind, and basically relive essentially that feeling of being primal, of being instinctive, and like in the moment, really living in the moment. Uh, but as time goes on, you get into higher doses, you get into more difficult, more challenging experiences. Like I would compare it to like when you first start out, it's like you're a child, and then you kind of become like an adolescent where you experience sort of more reality, sort of tougher emotions, and you have to face challenges. And that could just be based on where you're at in life, and when you go into a trip. But at the same time, I think there is a lot of um, it's like a process, I would say, when you trip, especially when you go into these lower doses, then you go higher and higher, and you're almost looking for something. But yeah, like 2019 for surely was like my honeymoon phase of psychedelics, and what I would consider the most fun time for me.
You don't even know what you're looking for though at a certain point.
Yeah, that's the thing. You look for, and you go down this rabbit hole. It just never ends.
I don't know, man. Like it was fun for me for a while, but then I started like chasing that fun, the feeling of the euphoria, and
Mhm.
it's more of like a nostalgia almost that like I would want to chase, like listening to music from like the year that I tripped alone, or like the the first time we did it, us three as friends, like
Mhm.
me and our other friend. And like it was so much fun, just like being outside. Like how could it not be fun when
Mhm.
the sky is so blue and there's these fucking clouds and the grass is so
It
green.
was.
Oh, like, blue and green are such like there's something about those two colors that are like healing.
Yeah,
Just
when combined, especially.
yeah, just to like, I mean, even just them alone
Mhm.
visually, it like heals you. It makes you feel better. Like it has been proven to boost your mood or make you feel a certain way.
Mhm.
And like, it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was like literally we were set up just to have a beautiful time, especially like during that first trip
I
when we
feel like
all
those,
tripped together.
yeah, I mean, like, I feel like those trips, they serve the purpose of like growing our friendships, I guess. But other than that, like individually, like it did bring me to a degree of like self-improvement, but then like I wasn't sure what improvement I was getting from these substances in the first place.
Hmm.
Like what how is this improving me? But it did change my life because
Yeah.
like I went on a completely different life path just from doing shrooms, I feel like.
No, same. And I remember like you were talking about like chasing that feeling. I remember we would have conversations where we would like sit, uh, mostly just us two, but sometimes with our other friend who we've referenced as John on this channel. But when we would just be talking about psychedelics and just how like, dude, we got to trip like every season. We got to go into this experience with like the this mindset or whatever, and try and look for that. And it's just like eventually you realize you're looking for something that you're not going to find. Like these answers, you're looking for the same experience to happen over and over and give you that same sense of like astonishment, but it's just not going to happen when you just keep going into it, looking for the same thing over and over. And that's kind of the harsh reality that hit because I felt like, especially after our like 6 gram trip, that was the point where I was really just in awe of like mushrooms in particular and psychedelics and what they could do to your mind, to your life. And I kind of refer to that as like my spiritual awakening, where I felt uh, just very pure all the time, and always like curious, always looking for something more. But that eventually kind of ends, and you come back to reality a little bit, and that's kind of where the trip started getting a little more intense and kind of difficult, I would say, as a whole. Like the late 2019, early 2020 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like we were like, yeah, we're gonna do it this often, bro. Like have these great trips. Like, why don't we try a higher dose? Like,
Yeah,
fuck it. Like we just said fucking did 6 grams or whatever we did. We didn't even measure it completely, I don't think.
it was at
Um,
least 5 to 6. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean that's when it felt more serious, but I wasn't really like taking it too seriously because the entire time I was just laughing, I feel like. I mean, there was
Oh
some
yeah.
parts that were
Yeah.
like weird and like uncomfortable, of course, but like I wasn't as uncomfortable as the last time I tripped,
Mhm.
the ego death.
Yeah. I mean, we were still. That was only your second trip. That was my third. So we were still kind of like babies in the psychedelic landscape or realm, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, dude, like when that ego death trip, I just never experienced shrooms like that ever. Like in the past, doing shrooms, those first couple of times were like this chill, like 3 hour high, and then you
Yeah.
like kind of come down a little bit, and like it maybe lasts like 4 or 5 hours at the most, but you're only having visuals for like 2 to 3 hours.
Hmm.
But this time you're having visuals for
Oh,
like 7 hours.
and it feels like longer. That's the thing.
And like maybe like you're still high for like an extra 2 hours on top of that. You're just only feeling body sensations at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't even like formulate a conversation. We were just sitting there on the couches, like looking up in awe, like what did we just experience? But yeah, I mean, like there was in 2019, I would say. I mean, I've referenced 2019 a lot, but at the end, remember that fall trip we had at Mitchell Rock?
Yeah.
Um, that trip overall was chill. It wasn't that intense, but like going up to that spot, I felt like I was uneasy. I was uncomfortable, a feeling that I hadn't really felt on shrooms, but something that almost like stuck with me after the trip and really stood out because I was like, this isn't really playful. This feeling isn't playful. This isn't something that I want to experience that much. But it was almost like a glimpse of what was to come because after that, it seems like a lot of my trips had like at least a moment or two where I was really uncomfortable and struggling to. I don't know if it was face something, but uh, conquer a feeling and just like really get over a certain feeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I mean, to be fair, Mitchell Rock is not like an easy hike. So like
yeah, I mean, especially
I'm like sweating, having a
I was
hard time breathing, like fuck, what the fuck's going on? Like I'm
yeah,
not ready for this right now. Like
yeah,
I'm not ready for this hike. I'm not ready for the shrooms trip. I'm not ready for any of this.
yeah. That's how
I
it
was
felt.
nervous going into every trip.
No, I was too. I was too. Except maybe like the first two, because I just was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just getting high. Like,
I don't know. I feel like it got more nerve wracking each time I did it. But like, I think it was the one we did in March of last year was, um, wow, I can't believe that was like a year ago,
I know
well over a year ago already.
it's crazy.
It's already May. But, anyways, I think I was like less nervous during that trip. I mean, it was really intense. Like, I feel like it really like hit me, but we were like outside and we were together most of the time. Like, the hills are still green because it hasn't gone too hot yet.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know how you can just have like a bad experience when you're
Right.
with even if you're like tripping. Okay, like anything less than an ego death, like when you're tripping with your friends, I feel like around maybe like 5 or 6 grams up to that point, like you can still have like a great time with your friends. But anything past like 6, it
Yeah.
starts edging into like no boundary territory
Yeah.
where like nothing exists. like there's no such thing as like a definition of reality.
Yeah. And your ego dissolution gets so intense that you almost forget like who you are, the fact that you even have friends, like these other people that are just there
Yeah,
with you. Like you kind of lose sense of that more so because you can get ego dissolution on lighter doses, but it's definitely like you're still aware that like, oh, like I'm Will, I'm with Alex, and
yeah, like these are my friends, like
yeah,
I know who I am. I'm just like lost in like this other world temporarily.
yeah, and you know it's temporarily, but
Yeah, exactly.
ego death, like I didn't really have the exact awareness of that for sure because like that was easily, I mean, not as a whole, but at points, the most uncomfortable experience of my life. Like that was scary.
Yeah, that was the most uncomfortable experience. Like yeah, I probably had like some pretty uncomfortable experiences, like physically maybe, and
Oh yeah,
maybe like I think mentally too. But that at least for that Shrooms trip, it was like the most intense, like uncomfortable experience for like a short amount of time, because it feels like forever, and you're not
yeah,
like you said earlier, like we're aware of this temporary feeling when we're at a lower dose, but that higher dose, it's scary because you're not aware that it's going to end. You're
yeah.
not sure like how long it's going to last or if it will last forever.
When it puts you in this loop to where you don't have like a perception of end. Like I felt like I was just in this infinite time loop at certain points, and I mean, like that was very short lived, but especially when I thought that I was literally gonna die. I thought there was no other fucking way to go. I thought I was dead. Like I just, I literally thought my life was over in this like moment, and just being there, thinking I couldn't function, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't digest food or drink water, and no matter what I did, it didn't help. It was just like I was remember just laying there next to you guys and just feeling like all hope was lost. Like I was trying to move my body to get in a comfortable position, and I couldn't do nothing worked. Like I just had to surrender. You know, I just had to like sit back and just like essentially let this metaphysical death play out.
It is hard to accept. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not sure where I was for a while. Just like whatever was going on, like I don't like I'd lost like all awareness at one point, and I remember like a point of awareness around our peak, but like I'm not sure how hard I was peaking before that one point of awareness.
Hmm.
And that point of awareness was when our other friend came out of the bathroom because he was throwing up. Like I remember that point in time during that trip, but I don't remember much before that. In
Yeah,
at least after the come up, anyways.
and it's yeah after the come up I would say because there was a lot that happened. Like even during the come up, I thought, well, to be honest, I didn't really even think about like how high I was. I was kind of just trying to really conceptualize what I was going through when I was coming up because I was really silent for a lot of that. I was just sitting there like, what is going on? Like this is only the beginning. Like, but yeah, especially when our friend threw up, and especially when he came out of the bathroom, like that's also when I kind of got out of that state of being like, oh, wait, what? Oh my God, it says it has a 40-minute time limit, bro.
It's we're fine, bro. We've talked about plenty already.
All right, okay, it said 10 minutes, so we're chilling.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah, when Eric, when our other friend came out of the bathroom, I
Are you
just,
gonna have to go through this whole video and cut that one?
no, we're good, bro. What's he gonna
Yeah.
do? Uh, yeah, I just remember like finally kind of coming back and feeling like a sense of ease. Like I was actually back to this body and this life and this state of mind to where I could actually function again, which was obviously a great feeling. And I don't know, I tried to kind of be there for you and him, but at the same time, I was kind of like asking him a little too much, like if he was okay, if he needed anything. So, I mean, I was just trying to be there because I knew you guys were probably tripping the fuck out. And after what I went through, you know, I was like, I just want to help.
But then after a while, it becomes so repetitive that you start to think like there's actually something wrong going on.
I know. It didn't look like he was
Like
tripping.
I don't know, am I okay? Fuck.
Yeah. When you keep asking that question, it keeps repeating in your head. You have to ask yourself. But yeah, I mean, after that experience, like I have had a trip since then that was not the most fun, and it was not a good idea. Like it was, I tripped at night, and it was just so impromptu. It was not a smart decision. But I think for at least now, like I really need to kind of like take a break and or an extended break and not really delve into psychedelics like that anytime soon.
Yeah, I feel like it's just too risky to even like try to do it. Like, yeah, maybe like a 3 gram dose would be cool, and
Mhm.
maybe like 5 grams max. But like, you want to question like, what's the point of even doing that? Like,
Yeah, literally.
that's just more of like, let's just aim for trying to have like a fun time.
Yeah, no, you're not expecting anything like any crazy epiphanies to come your way or anything.
Yeah, because I feel like what you really want to do if you're going to trip again is have to challenge yourself to go through these thoughts alone
Hmm.
and like really analyze yourself as a person. But at like a dose, that's not dose.
Yeah,
Like a
no,
little bit less than that. Like 5 is probably a good amount.
five. So is that what
Maybe
you would do then? Like if you were,
at least on cubensis mushrooms because
mhm.
those are like
Yeah,
not as potent, I guess.
yeah. So is that where you're at then? Like, do you want to? Have you been thinking about tripping at all recently, or?
Oh no.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it like it just sounds really like risky to even have to do that. Because what if it like sends me into some like existential despair?
Yeah,
I have no idea what it might do. I
especially
think
because what you've experienced now, you probably get like these sudden flashbacks. Because at least for me, with mushrooms, it's like this feeling I can never remember until it comes back, and then I'm like, oh, this is what it was like.
but then it's scary now. I
Yeah.
almost feel like PTSD just like thinking about that trip.
Same, because it was so uncomfortable at times.
So like actually tripping on shrooms again would make me like really like have like anxiety.
You'd have to face like some challenges for sure,
Yeah.
some real challenges. Yeah, and I think it's the same for me, you, probably our other friend as well. But
And
yeah,
it's like at that point, it's like, is it even worth facing those challenges? Because like right now, I feel like my life is doing perfectly fine.
yeah, it's like it's just
Obviously, things
unnecessary.
can change at any time, but like,
Yeah.
what's the point of tripping and like having to challenge myself through these things that I'm already like working on? Like, for
Mhm.
example, I've shared like so many things on this channel about my dad already, like at least 2 or 3 videos about it. If you haven't watched it, it doesn't matter. But like my relationship with my dad is, I don't have one. It's non-existent, and having to work through the emotional abuser that he is, like it's tough. Like coming to those realizations, but I'm working on it. I'm not like
Mhm.
ignoring it. Like I understand myself and who I am a lot. So like
Yeah.
I don't know how much further I need to go with psychedelics.
Yeah, right. And like you're only human too, so you can only do so much about it. You're still learning through your circumstances, through your experience. It's the same with me too, because like I mean, obviously, I think I'm perfectly fine as well right now, at least for the most part. But trying to find like still trying to find a job or something I can do moving forward to make some money and kind of trying to figure out what's next because now that school is over and stuff, it is a little bit like a mystery and something that can provoke a little bit of stress sometimes. But overall, I think I'm fine. And at the same time, it's like I don't really think that a psychedelic trip is necessary. I feel like I've gotten what I've needed at least to this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's like 4 minutes. I pretty much feel like I said everything I needed to say about this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I think we're good for now. So yeah.
yeah, to get to this point, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and Psychonaut Visions signing
Thank
out.
you guys. Woo!